Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back. It is Wednesday. That means I'm here with my good friend, Beth English. And today we're going to talk about 3 really, really bad Instagram mistakes that you may be doing right now that are hurting your engagement. So that's the topic. Hi, Beth. How are you? Good to see you.
Hi, I'm so good. It's so good to see you too. And I can't wait to hear this topic today because I'm sure that these are things I could work on too.
No, yeah, I'm super excited about this topic. As you know, I love Instagram, and I spend maybe a little bit too much time on that. That's maybe for another topic, another day. But I've been doing a lot of Instagram reviews from a webinar that I'm running every week for the summer. And these are like 3 things that I see over and over that I find myself kind of repeating to a lot of artists. So like, I think, this is there's good meat here, to talk about and to do an episode on these mistakes, because these mistakes are hurting engagement for a lot of artists. And now artists that I've been reviewing their Instagrams, a few weeks after, and they've been trying these things out, that, many of them are coming back like, oh, Sergio, actually, some things are happening. So that is good. So, these are all things that we can all learn from, and things that I also had to remind myself, because sometimes I'm guilty as well, and I had to keep coming back to this. So that's in the work. So first of all, Beth, I just realized today that Instagram is 10 years old. So I cannot believe it. Instagram is 10 years old. So I'm thinking, if Instagram was a child, it would be 10 years old right now. How could you describe in a few words your experience with Instagram? What words would you use to describe it?
First word was fun, but then second word was almost like intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I stopped using it like in between. Like I was all on it in the beginning and then I stopped using it because I was so over social media, like in general, like I just dropped the ball and I didn't do any of it for a few years.
Yeah.
And then I slowly got back into it because it was going to be on my terms. And I think that we all have to ask ourselves, like, how does social media look on our terms? And that feels better.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love those words. I kind of think of it as love and hate. And I think a lot of people measure, both of them. Some days you love it and some days you hate it, right? And it's like everything else in between. And kind of like that's kind of what's pushing me to do these webinars and talk about Instagram, because I think there's some things on the love side that I think we can always lean on on those days when the ugly and the bad doesn't look so good. So the first one that I want to talk about is first big huge Instagram mistake that is hurting your engagement, is that, and I see this all the time, and specifically for artists, when we're sharing our art, right? When you take a picture of an artwork that you created, you put it there, so you start the caption with title, medium size, and then you talk about it. So you may think, well, I'm doing things right. What's wrong with that? I'm putting information about the artwork and then I'm talking about it. And that is great. The problem is the order. You want to talk about it first and then give the title, medium, and size. And here is why. Because when you are scrolling through Instagram, through your feed, as you're looking at people's page, you will only see the first 2 or 3 lines of the caption. So if all they see is the title, medium, size, you are just like advertising your post. So you want to do the opposite, totally the opposite. Start with the story. Think about that first sentence as the sentence that's going to catch the people's attention, for them they see the picture, but now maybe they see something that captures their attention, and now they'll click on it, and now they will see the entire caption and your mini story, which we have talked about before, right? Beth, you and I, we love talk about stories. And then at the end, the icing in the cake, tell them about the title, medium size, and where to get it, right? But the order makes a huge difference. And I've been testing this with many artists. And it's like, oh, wow, it actually does make a difference. And that is actually a mistake that I was doing. And it happens all the time because we think, oh, I want to make sure I give them the information and then I'll talk about it. But most people are not seeing what you have to say because they're just scrolling. So what do you think of that one? Have you seen that happening as you scroll through Insta?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And I knew exactly where you were going with this because it is a very common thing, because you're right. You think, oh, I'm doing the right thing. I'm sharing the title. But if you're scrolling, you're just like boring.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
you want to be triggered to push that button that says see more. And like you said, you can only write like a very short sentence, maybe a little emoji to kind of like make it seem more fun and engaging, right? But like you got to hear how I made this work, boom. And then people will be like, oh, I got to hear this, instead of like, I'm going to just give you everything up front and then not engage with you at all. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. Do you have some favorite emojis that you like to use in your posts?
Yes, the little star one, because I'm all about like energy and like manifestations and vibrations and magical life stuff.
Yeah.
So it's always about the stars.
I love it. One of my favorite ones is the fireworks emoji. So you will see it quite a bit on mine. Maybe you've seen it. Think, hey, fireworks, check this out. There must be something important here. And another one, which I always recommend, when you sell a work of art, always start the post with the red dot emoji, just like what you see in galleries, and put the word. Don't be shy about saying sold. There's something about when you see a post that says sold, everybody wants to stop by and read it. So, of course, don't put sold to everything if it's not sold, right? But, there's something about that little red dot where it says sold. Oh, let me see. Let me read. It's a grabber, as you say. I think it's a good one.
Yeah, I stopped on your post yesterday because it was like the red dot and it was like, stop scrolling and look at this. And I was like, oh, okay. Whatever you say.
Yes.
It worked.
It absolutely worked. Yes, there was a post where I said, I put the little stop symbol. And because I was actually hearing a podcast the other day about the importance of you directing the audience to give them the instructions. Sometimes we're shy about telling them exactly what you want them to do. So I want them to stop and read. and that was fun. That was a fun
one. Got
my
attention. I was like, okay.
It's like when somebody says, do not scroll, right? Immediately what you want to do? You want to scroll, right? They must be hiding something from me. So that's a good one. And again, so to all my friends, keep that in mind. Switch the order. It will really help. And of course, say something about it and then give us all the information. So try it for the next couple of weeks. Let us know how you like that little tip. Second thing that's probably helping you with your Instagram engagement. And it is not using enough DMs and Instagram story reactions, right? DMs and Instagram reactions. Now you say, well, Sergio, but those are private things that nobody's seeing. Well, let me tell you who's seeing it. The algorithm, the things that are working behind the scenes are seeing your interactions with other people. And in 2021, Instagram have made it very publicly the idea that they want people to connect with each other, which that means when I start on Instagram DMing with Beth, and Beth replies to me, even if it's in a DM, Instagram in its algorithm will say, well, Beth and Sergio are connected. I'm going to show Beth more of Sergio's post, and and vice versa, right? And I've tested this before too with like people that just started following, and then I went on DM. Well, the next day I will see their post pop up. So this is a good strategy, because especially with people that you want to connect with or that you meet or things like that, and you want them to see your post. Let's say a new curator that you meet or a gallery director or somebody, go ahead, right? Go to the DMs, start engaging with them, and hopefully they'll reply to you at some point, and that starts a conversation that that Instagram is going to reward you by showing your post to them. And Instagram wants us to DM each other. That's why they have put so much effort on the DMs. And making them fun, and you can do video DMs, all those things, because Instagram wants us to DM each other. They want to make the platform more meaningful with each other. So if you're not doing that, right, which I wasn't, a few years ago, and when I started to use it more, I see the benefit of it. You definitely are hurting, your bottom line, the engagement, if you're not doing it. How do you like that one, babe?
I love it. And, I just had an idea, because sometimes it's hard to know, well, where do I start? Who do I start DMing? Like there's too many choices. I don't know what to do. Right. Go to your stories and see who's watching them, and then watch their stories and then
Yeah, exactly.
comment on something they're doing in their stories, and that's automatically going to send them a DM that way. Plus, who doesn't like to see reactions from their stories? Because I feel like we're heavily populating our story content, maybe more so than our actual feed content. And so we're putting more work towards it. And so we're going to want to feel like people actually care. And so when you go and you comment back on something that was on the story and then that goes to the DM, I mean, I think that's, you know, really nice, and it could start a great conversation, more so than maybe just like going to a post and being like, oh, I like your post. You know, it's like you want to feel authentic about the conversations you're having. And so try to have real conversations and not just like a DM for the purpose of the DM, right? Like try to find something engaging to talk about so it's more meaningful.
In some way to always kind of, you can always compliment somebody. That's always going to be received, right? In a good, positive way. And of course, not everybody's going to reply from comments, especially if they're not following you back, or if somebody who's big or something, you know, that may have hundreds of thousands of followers, you know, they might not never get back to you, but you never know. You know, sometimes you'll be surprised who replies to you, and that has been my experience. So never be shy of DMs or Instagram story reactions, because they can work wonderful. All right, the last one, the third one, which I think is super important. We have talked about this a bit before, but I think still a mistake that a lot of artists are making when they're sharing their art is that you are seeing Instagram as a billboard. You know, you look at the post of Instagram, this is a billboard that I have to many people. And so you are treating it as a billboard, which a billboard is you advertise on billboards, right? Find ways to make connections, find ways to, you know, bring people into the conversation, bring people into the activity. And one of the things you can do is when you are on Instagram, don't think about, well, it's all about me or it's all about for myself. What can I do for others through my Instagram page? So something that I do quite often, maybe at least every couple of months, I spend one day in which I do what do I do? It's called the Instagram Appreciation Day, or Follower Appreciation Day. So I forgot the name. Follower Appreciation Day, where I take that whole day and I just shared my followers. I take random, you know, from my followers list, and I make sure I follow that person, and then I share one other post on my stories, and then I tag that person. And that works really great. Usually the engagement that I get from that day, it lasts for the whole week, because people will be coming back, will be, you know, saying thank yous. Who doesn't like to be, you know, shout out? Even if you have a smaller account, that is fine. You know, that means somebody saw you post enough, they like it enough that they decided to share it with their audience. And everybody can do that. And it's a day in which you almost dedicate your Instagram, not for yourself, but for others, those who are following you. And that's a way to stop seeing your Instagram as a billboard and seeing more as a connection community tool, which is something that Beth and I, we always talk about.
Yes, that's a great idea. I love that you do that. You know, we all want to feel connected. And I think when we're sharing online, sometimes it feels one-sided. And that's why it's important to take that extra step, reach out to people, whether it's through sharing their content or messaging them in the DMs. Like, this is why social media exists, for us to be social, not just, like you said, to post, you know, things for ourselves that we don't get any engagement out of. I think it's more fun, and it might actually make you want to use social media when you feel like this is your playground with your friends. And that's the way I like to look at it. And so when I'm excited about something, or I want to share something, like I put it out there, and I try to make it as engaging as possible, because the whole point is to connect with people and to create even more connections. But these are some good tips. I'm thinking about them a lot.
Very good. Very good. Well, I hope our friends, hope our friends are also thinking about this. And with this, we're going to wrap it up as well. And Beth, where can our friends find you if they want to connect with you, if they want to DM you, you know, on Insta?
You guys can do that on Instagram at Beth English, or on Facebook too. I'm there a lot, and connect with the National Creative Group. We would love to see you become part of our community. And so there's a link to that on my profile on Instagram, and there's all sorts of links too, like on my Instagram link, that you can go and find other ways to connect with me, whether that's through my website or my YouTube channel. I've got it all right there, just to make it easy on everybody. So What about you?
Absolutely. Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram, Sergio Gomez Art. And if you love these tips that I share with you today, make sure you check out my webinar on Instagram that I'm only doing this summer, and that's it. So make sure you check it out, and you'll find a link right also from my Instagram profile. So check it out. And thanks, my friends. Thank you, Beth. We will see you next week, which I'm sure is going to be an awesome conversation as well.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye.